Hello and welcome to Just Vintage Crochet and to 1864. We will be crocheting a Pelerine. This one here I picked because, well, doesn't it look quite lovely and nice? And it also looks like one of those relaxing, easy patterns. I know we've all been working our butts off over the holidays, so I wanted to come up with something that looked really pretty and was a nice, easy project. So this pattern, I really struggled to make this readable. I don't think I'm going to be able to make this pattern available in the shop. So as we're working, by the way, it's a very simple pattern. As we are working, write down the instructions for yourself. It's a 1-row repeat. It's basically a 1-row repeat without a lot of frills, no collar, just some fringe and a necktie, and that's it. So they do have a lot of words here, but this is all just describing what the stitches are that we already know. We already know how to make a double crochet. Of course, they call it a treble because this is written in UK terms. We know how to make a chain, and we know how to make fringe, and so that's what a lot of the wording on here is. So I feel very comfortable in saying, write this one down, and here's the title of it if you want to title your pattern. And of course, the camera is making it quite easy to see. The camera is magnifying it quite well, but in reality, it's not that easy to see. And people would get really upset with me if they bought this pattern and it looked like it looks. It's just not a quality printed pattern, but it is called the 1864 Crochet Pelerine. And we are going to be working with 3 different colors. I am going with the exact colors that they ask for, which is we're working with Berlin wool. Now, there's so many different sizes to Berlin wool. I simply had to go based off the photo. You look at the fringe and you get a pretty good idea of what size yarn they used. And it looks like it would be an Aran weight, or here in the US, a number 4 worsted weight. Maybe it's slightly thinner, but that doesn't matter because this thing here is made, it's made according to your measurements. So really and truly, you can use any yarn for this. This entire thing is made from the measurement around your neck. No 2 people are going to have the exact same measurements, so it doesn't really matter what size yarn you use. I'm going to be using a Aran or worsted weight yarn and a number 5 or 5mm H crochet hook. Okay, so the colors it wants us to use are white, but I have opted for Aran instead, sort of an off-white. It calls for blue. I have this beautiful like navy blue. I don't know, it's kind of almost a dark denim blue, really. Then it calls for a speckled yarn, and I have this, which I consider to be speckled. So to get started on this, what we need to do is basically make it the size of our neck, but a little bit bigger. As the instructions start off with, make a chain rather longer than the size of the neck. My neck is 12 inches. My dress form's neck is 12 inches. So I made mine 13 inches. And plus, with 13 inches, it still had plenty more room to stretch. And I think with the weight of this, by the end, it will stretch. So I settled with 13 inches. For me, that was 49 stitches plus 3 more stitches for the turning chain equaling 52. 52 chains, I should say. 49 chains plus 3 and 52. That might not be the same for you. You may need less. You may need a little more. So make it according to your size. Now, what I would do is throw a mess of extra chains on there. Reason being, it's okay if you have extra chains. Chains can be easily unraveled. If you wind up working the same number of stitches going this way as coming back down this way, and you wind up with 4 extra chains, these can be easily unraveled. You just undo the knot and unravel the extra chains. That's not a problem. So what they want us to do is work 2 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, work 2 double crochet every other stitch to the center point. So when you make your chain, fold it in half and mark your center point. At the center point, we're going to work an increase, and then we need to make sure that we have the same number of groups worked down to the end. Again, if that means you wound up with 3 or 4 extra chains, those can easily be unraveled. So for me, it's 12 groups going up, then we work the increase, and then 12 more groups coming back down. I'm going to show you all of this. I'm going to start off with my 49 plus 3 starting chain. I'll be right back. And before I go, I should mention, at the end of the pattern, they tell you the colorway. So the arrangement of color in our model is as follows: 10 rows of white, 1 row of blue, 1 row of speckled, 4 rows of blue, 1 row of speckled, 1 row of blue all around. And then we work, the fringe is blue and speckled. So it looks like white is only going to be cascading from the neck down to about the, probably just below the shoulders. Okay, so that's why I am starting with my Aran color. All right, I will be right back. Okay, I have my 52 chains. Now we're going to skip 3. I will be working in the back bump. Skip 3 chains, and in the 4th, work 1 double crochet, and that makes our very first group of, well, 2 double crochet together. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, skip 1, and in the next stitch over, work 2 double crochet into the same stitch. There we go. And repeat. Chain 1, skip 1, work 2 double crochet. I'm going to do this for 12 groups total. That made no sense. I'm going to do this until I have 12 groups made. I'm so glad you guys put up with my Karina-isms, the way I speak. So I have 1, because that counts as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will be back whenever I have 12. Okay, I have my 12 groups made. Now we chain 1, skip 1, and in the next stitch we work our first increase. So 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet. 1 and 2, chain 1, skip 1, and we continue to work our 12 groups back down. You should put your last group into the very last stitch on the row. Again, if you have extra chains, no worry. You got your numbers in without having to redo it a bunch of times, and you can easily unravel those chains. Very, very easily. I'm not going to have any extra chains, but if you did have extra chains, it's a matter of taking your darning needle, unraveling the little knot here on the end. You just kind of pull up on that part, pull this center part out, unravel all the chains that you need to unravel, and it's fine. It's fine. Best way to work these kind of patterns that don't give you a definitive chain count to start, you can just make an excessive amount of chains and then unravel them at the end whenever you have achieved what you needed to achieve for the pattern to work. About that, I was working kind of off camera there a little bit, wasn't I? I had to pull everything down toward me. Okay, I will be right back. I have 11 worked down. I just have 1 more to work and 2 stitches left. So here we go. 2 double crochet into the last stitch. Now, if you would like for me to make this pattern available, you guys, I'll leave it up to you. You let me know in the comments. I can make a listing. That's not a problem. Okay. Now for row 2, let's chain 3. And into the very first double crochet here, let's work 2 more double crochet for our first Van Dyke stitch. We know this as the granny stitch, but originally it was called the Van Dyke stitch. Now, without chaining 1, yarn over and into the next chain 1 space, work another Van Dyke stitch. We're going to repeat this all the way to the center back point where we will work another increase. Okay, just like this, 3 double crochet without chaining 1 in between in each chain 1 space. I will be right back. I'm going to work this all the way up to the point, and then we will work our center point increase. Okay, so I have reached My center point, I just have to work one more Van Dyke stitch. In my last chain one space on this side. Now we will chain one. Here's where we will chain one. Work 3 double crochet into the point. Chain one again, 3 double crochet into the same chain one space of the point. And chain one more time. Now we begin working our Van Dyke stitches as usual without chaining one between the groups. Just like that all the way to the end. So I will meet back up with you when we get to the end, and I will show you how we're going to end each row. Right, I've got one more stitch, one more space to work my last Van Dyke stitch. Sorry. Okay, now on the end here, we work 1 double crochet into the very last stitch, which is our chain 3. Chain 3 and turn, and into the top of that same stitch, work 2 more double crochet. This is our increase. The pattern wants us to increase at the commencement of every row, which is at the start of every row. So it says to work 1 increase at the start of every row, and of course work our center of the back increase. We do not increase on the end. We only increase at the start of every row and at the center of every row. Okay, now into that space right there, we're going to work another Van Dyke stitch. So it's going to look like there are just 6 double crochet in a row. On our way back this way, when we're working around this way, we're actually going to work between these 2 groups to separate them. Okay, without chaining one, we continue to work our Van Dyke stitches. Now that we have made it to the center back point, we will once again at this point now chain 1, and then into that chain 1 space we work our increase of 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1 again, and then proceed to work our Van Dyke stitch repeats to the end. Okay, I will be right back when we get to the end, and I will work up the next row with you. And the next row will lock in our 1 row repeat. Let's finish this row up together. Work my last Van Dyke stitch here, then into the top of my chain 3. I work a double crochet, and we work our increase in the next row, because again, at the start of every row is where we work our increase, and then at the center back. So chain 3 and turn, and into the top of that double crochet we work 2 more, and then into that space we work 3 doubles, okay, I'm going to meet back up with you when we get all the way back to the end of this row, and we will finish this row off together. I'll show you how we do that. And then we will go over the row count and color change. There we go. Just remember to work your point the same way. We aren't working any chain 1s until we get to the point where after we work our last Van Dyke stitch here, then we chain 1, we work our increase here, no different than right here, chain 1 again, and then we work the rest of our Van Dyke stitches as we have been. So I will be right back whenever I get all the way to the end of this row. Almost to the end of this row, when I get to this point here. Now we have reached the end of this row. So what we're going to do now is work the last Van Dyke between these two groups. We have 3 here and 3 here. So just jump between these 3 and work your last Van Dyke stitch of the row. This is how every row will be worked. Now we jump over here and we work our last double crochet, chain 3, turn into the top of that double crochet, work 2 more, and then into the space right next to it, work your next Van Dyke stitch. And these are the increases that we start at the beginning of each row. Now we're off to the races. Okay, so let's go over the color and the rows. It says here, the arrangement of the color in our model is as follows: 10 rows of white, 1 row of blue, 1 of speckled, 4 of blue, 1 of speckled, 1 row of blue all around. At first, this a little bit confused me until I kind of really read through the whole pattern. What they mean by all around is they want us to finish this piece so it will ultimately look like we have 18 rows. We're working 17 rows, but the last row is that all around row where we're going to start at one point and work Van Dyke stitches down, up, around, down, back up again, back around, and that's that. So that is the last row that we're going to work. And you can see that, well, I wonder if we work a round of single crochet around the neck. It doesn't say to. No, that's all Van Dykes. Okay, yeah, no, that's a round of Van Dykes, I think. That's just the tops of them. Okay, it visually threw me off for just a moment, but yes. So that is how we end. So I'll hold that up for you as that can be seen pretty well. And let me do this actually, make it easier for you to see right here. There we go. I will hold that up for you so that you can pause the screen and write all of that down. That is the row count. It is a total of 17 rows up to this point. This will make row 18, even though it's a round that we work all around the entire piece. Then we're going to finish it with the fringe, and they recommend blue and speckled for the fringe. So I'm going to go ahead and work my 10 rows of white, 10 total rows of white. Then I'll be back whenever we are ready to color change. Okay, now I am ready to change colors. This very dark blue here. And I know I showed you guys this for my speckle, which I think will look nice, but I'm also kind of mulling over this color. I really like this color too, so I haven't fully committed yet to which speckle I'm gonna go with. All right, changing colors. I'm gonna work my last double crochet here on the end, but I'm not gonna complete it with the Aran. I'm gonna complete it with this blue. This is a very dark blue. It's very beautiful. It's like a navy, like a very deep navy. Okay. And I'm just going to carry on. The blue seems a little bit thinner than the Aran. They are different brands. The Aran is Red Heart Super Saver, and the blue is the Joanne Fabrics brand Big Twist. Okay. So I'm now going to do, remind myself, 1 row of blue. So 1 row of blue, then my next row will be speckle, then 4 rows of blue, then another row of speckle. What do you guys think? Here, let me pop down this other one I have. We have this. I don't know how if you can tell just how blue that is. You really probably can't. Okay, so we have this. Or we have this. I really like this better, I think. I think I'm going to go with this one. This is from Lion brand, and it's called Gold Heather, or This is a name I was never able to pronounce, but it's in a lot of these vintage patterns. Someone said it's pronounced basically like China, like I don't know. I'm gonna mutilate it. It's gonna be unfair to the language if I continue to try to pronounce it. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1 row of this, then I'm gonna do my 1 row of speckle, then 4 rows of the blue. So I'll check in with you guys here in a little bit. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. And I split that one, didn't I? All the way. Try that again. There we go. I know this is probably hard to see, isn't it? It's basically like a black, it's so dark. I'm sure in the sunlight it'll brighten right up though. It's like a beautiful navy. But it is 9 o'clock at night and we're only using my overhead ceiling lamp in my living room, so. Okay, y'all. I shall be back. I'll be back whenever I make it to all the way to the end and I'm ready to work all around the entire piece. So I'm going to do all of my color now. Okay, I know it's a little dark now. This gold, by the way, looks amazing with this. So I wasn't even thinking, and I just added on the last row, the 18th row, and started working it. So yes, pelerines are short. I'm going to insert some photos. Pelerine is basically just a capelet. And I'm going to insert some photos of capelets and how they're worn. The body of the capelet goes down to about mid-arm, mid-upper arm, or even a little higher, and then you add long fringe. You can make this longer if you want to. What I would do if you wanted to make this longer is add 4 more rows of the blue, add another row of the accent color you picked, and then your last row of the blue being the row that goes all around the entire pelerine, which is what I'm working on right now. So I'm going to work this entire normal row. Then I will jump back on here with you and we will work a bit of the edge together. So I will be right back. Okay, I made it to the end of that row, so it doesn't really instruct how to do this part, so I practiced a little bit. So what we're going to do is make a full Van Dyke stitch here on the end. So let's work 2 more double crochet. Then go ahead and chain 1 for a corner, and into that same stitch make another 3 double crochet, and into this first space right here, going to go ahead and make another stitch, into the side of this stitch right here, let's make another one, and this will be the way we will work it all the way around. Into that space, and into the side stitch. So I'm going to continue to do this off camera, and I'm going to work this all the way around, including around the neck. Oops. There we go. And that is how it is looking. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have my border all around. It's turning out quite nice. Here we go. We just have to put some good long fringe on there now. And it's small. I was thinking something, if you wanted to, you could double up on your yarn and make it really thick and plushy if you wanted to. But yeah, if you wanted it longer, again, I would just do 4 rows of the blue again, then do your, I'm just going to say gold, because that's what I have here. And then, of course, your final row that goes. So worked my final row from here all around to here, up, around the neck, and back down again. And I joined it by working a 3 double crochet into the starting stitch down here, chain 1, and then I joined with the slip stitch. And on the neck, I worked, I worked the neck corners the same way we worked the corner down here. I just worked a Van Dyke, a chain 1, and then another Van Dyke. So I need to go ahead and weave in all of my ends real quick. And let's work some fringe. I think I want mine to have just the straight gold fringe down. I don't want to blend it. I really like the way the pops of gold are looking on here. I think I'm going to make my neck chain also, I said neck chain. The pull chain, I think I'm also going to make it gold. So I really do like those gold accents coming through. So let me go ahead and weave in all of my ends real quick and start on a little bit of the fringe so that I know about how long I'm going to make mine, in case you want to make yours exactly the way I'm making this one. Actually, while I have you here, let me go ahead and get these measurements really quick. So I will fold this back up. There we go. It seems quite small. So from point to point, it measures about 22 inches. And from this point of the neck all the way down to the point, it measures 16 inches. So there we go. And I'll go from the back center to the bottom of the back point. It is 14 inches. Okay, so that is the measurements on this one. So now I'm working on the fringe, and I'm going to use my Mayflower book as I typically do. I'll measure it all around for you as I'm going to wrap the yarn around it like this. So this book measures exactly 14 inches around, and here is what I do. I put a piece in there, and then I just start wrapping. I'll be right back. Okay, now I just simply cut. Okie doke. And when folded in half, they're not too long. They measure about 6.5 inches. So there we go. I'll show you. I have been adding the fringe. I really like it with this gold. So I just have a little bit more to go on this side here. And then when I'm done with that, I'll come back and we will do the drawstring for around the neck area. Okay, so all finished with it. What I did is I just used a 4.5 millimeter hook, and I made 130 chains to go around so that it could be long enough to tie into a little bow at the top, just like the photo. Then I attached 2 tassels to the end, and I weaved it in right here below the blue line. So that is how that's finished. Now, let me show you some reveal shots.